Welcome back to the BACKCOUNTRYPA podcast. This is episode 123. This is our fourth day out in Illinois recap. If you don't know right now, we're not in Illinois at this moment. If you're watching on YouTube, that's why I said that, because we're actually in the studio. So this one, I don't think I saw anything, but you'll hear the whole story of that, where I sat, all that kind of good shit. There's a lot of changing going on right now on the fourth day. I think a lot of us changed spots or stands or whatever. But yeah, I think it's, and then we talk about hunting in Illinois. We hear some more stories from Scott, Mason, and I think Steve even says a few words.
Yeah, I think he actually said a few things, because he even I remember him telling me, like, I don't think I want to do podcast things. I get a little nervous. It feels
Yep.
like an interview, and I mean, he chimed right in like it was a normal conversation. So that was nice.
Yep. So really great conversation. Once again, it was awesome being out there. Look forward to going back out there, not for a couple of years probably, just because there's a few things changing in our lives.
Just
Put it that way.
just a few.
Just a few. But yeah, so we're pretty excited. Also, Ethan brought his
My massive Pennsylvania 6-point
into the studio. Ethan, you want to hold that for the YouTube viewers? This thing, I think it will be 50, but I'm not sure. But I think we're going to get it.
It's going to be scored.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Hey, first one. What can you say?
I can't complain one
Nope.
bit.
Don't complain about it. It's meat in the freezer. That's what matters.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
It's gone now.
It's gone now. But that's okay.
Ethan, anything else about this episode you want to put out there before we to the partners and all that kind of good shit?
It's day 4 or 5. We were tired. We were cold. But we were still ready to go.
Oh, this was the day that the wind actually fucking stopped.
Yes, it was probably the nicest day.
It was one of the nicest, yes.
And I don't know, this was the coldest day. It was in the single digits, I believe.
I think it was 19 at the highest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the teens.
But no wind, so we were not complaining.
But actually felt worse because of how cold it was.
Just a little.
Yeah. I think I had like 5 layers on. Yeah, pretty sure I had 5 layers on.
Can't feel your toes.
Nope. Okay. So first, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Go follow us on Carbon, because we're going to be posting these videos on Carbon TV as well. We'll be having a merch website coming out very shortly, where you can actually order, and it'll be shipped directly to you with at least one shirt, a hoodie, and then a hat. And that's all we're going to do for right now. But there's possibility of specialty shirts coming out.
Ooh,
where it's only open for a month, 2-month period, and then it's cut off, and those shirts won't be available anymore.
Exclusives.
Yeah, exclusives. Maybe with our autographs. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But for partners, first, Our Grounds Coffee Company, drinking every Tuesday. We do an episode, sometimes on Saturdays too.
Might as well.
Yep. Go to the website, Our Grounds Coffee Company, and use code BCPA. That'll get you 15% off your order.
Nice.
It's 15%. And he does have merch coming out this Friday, actually. So this is released on Monday, so it just came out. So Go to his website, check out the merch. For genetics, use code BACKCOUNTRYPA, BACKCTRYPA. That'll get you 20% off your entire order. Heated hunts, use code BCPA5, 5% off your order. Deer age, Ethan, you actually just told me a little something about deer age that we didn't know.
Yes. So I submitted my doe that I got this year, and it's pending. So I will keep everyone up to date on that. But when you make a profile, send your teeth in, they actually keep track of the records for each individual state and each individual year of the oldest deer for each and every state. Thank you. Who shot it, where it was from, if it was a buck or doe, and how much it weighed, if they give that information, of course. So go check that out and see where your deer ranks in your respective state.
Yeah. Use code BACKCOUNTRYPA, all capitals. That'll get you 10% off your very first order. There's no other partners that I can think of off the top of my head. I feel like we have a new one coming up, but I don't want to announce anything yet until it's official. Ethan and I obviously know, but we can't let you know until we know that we can tell you, so you know.
Everyone needs to know.
Anyway, remember to keep hunting, keep fishing, keep fishing, and always enjoy the freaking process.
Well, welcome back. It's day 4.
Hey, we're live.
We're live. Day 4.
Recap.
Day 4 recap.
That's right.
I always forget the recap part.
You do. Day 4 of what? I don't know. Continue.
I didn't have anything else to say.
What?
The acronyms I was saying this morning?
BBDSII.
BBDS? Big Buck Down Sunday?
Down.
Oh,
In
BBDSB.
Illinois.
Big Buck Down Sunday Baby.
But you gotta add the
II in Illinois.
That's too much.
No, they're not gonna know. Otherwise, they're not gonna know where it is.
Why do you have to put II at the end? Why can't I just put...
It sounds good. II.
All right.
You
Anyway.
need at least 10 more letters.
Okay, gotcha. Like the Super Bowls? X, V, I. So, updates. Ethan, you want to start?
Yeah, I actually have something to say. Instead of
Shocking.
cold, windy, and nothing, it was cold, not windy, and I saw things. Oh, yes. I mean, I didn't see anything. I saw things. No, I didn't. I
Not the
didn't
fan
see
of the
anything until literally 15, 20 minutes before sundown. Sitting in the stand, look out, see this brown dot just kind of walking through the field about probably 250, 300 yards away. Pull the binos up, check her out. It's a doe. She's walking right to me. Crossbow was in hand, safety was off, and she's 200 plus yards away. I was ready.
Safety was off already?
Oh, safety was off.
Oh, my God.
Well, it clicks, right? And I know if they get close enough, they hear it. Because
Yeah.
it's like, no matter how slow I do it,
I was going to say, if you just push it slowly, I don't think it would click as much.
still clicks.
Dogs barking, they wouldn't hurt.
That is true. Those dogs
That's
bark
like if
all
I
day.
drew my bow back at 200 yards just waiting.
Yeah, might as
for her to
well.
walk
Yeah, you
up.
got a let off, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm not going to hold it for that long.
But she's coming in, and then out of the corner of my eye, this deer just comes out of nowhere, about 150 yards off, and I just see white. And just straight up over his ears. I was like, oh, there's my buck. There he is.
My buck.
That's my buck. 150 yards out, and he just stops and just stares like in her direction. Like, the way he was acting is like he didn't really know what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. He just knew that there was other deer around, and he was just on the move.
Okay.
So I watched him just kind of like trot around a little bit. She just kind of moseyed around. She didn't pay attention to him at all. And then they just disappeared. And I gave it about 5 minutes. I didn't see him. And I was like, what do I do? Like, it's going to get dark in 10, 15 minutes. They're too far away. That I don't think they're coming to me at all. Mm-hmm. Do I just attempt to go after them? Because there's a hill. I can sneak up over the hill, stay against the tree line. Yeah, sneak up over and be all right. So I was like, I'm going to try it. So I get up, but then I see the buck. He made his way the whole way to the other end, and then he was gone. And then the doe, she jumped the fence to the other property. So I couldn't take a shot at her at all.
Yeah.
And then leaving, ended up jumping, it was 12 to 15 doe on the other side. On the other side of the property, just leave. I was like, well, I finally saw my deer. They're on the wrong side of the fence, but finally saw them.
Yeah.
So I got happy. I mean, I was like, I'm a little cold, but I was shaking when I saw the buck. I was like, I can't calm down. I was like, I'm trying to breathe in. I was like, I couldn't do it. I was like, if he comes in close enough, I'll be doing one of these
You took the
all
paper
the time.
bag with you for your lunch, right?
I'll just breathe in the
You
paper.
could just breathe in the bag. Yeah,
and I'll be all right.
Would have fixed you up.
Yep, been fine.
So he was pretty big?
He was tall.
Yeah.
We almost ran him over with the truck.
Oh, okay.
He came across the road right in front of us.
Yeah.
And as soon as we saw him, it was through my head, it was like, that's that son of a bitch I saw 2 days ago.
Oh, it was the same one, you
Oh,
think?
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the same one.
Might be the only buck.
There in that field, just running the whole thing.
True, he runs that farm.
Yeah, he runs
He
it.
doesn't. He won't leave that farm. He's just staying there. And then, well, he's got all the dough. If it's just him,
Yeah.
he's got all those dough
I mean-
to pick from.
Scott, how many buck do you have on? Do you have cameras over there?
Yeah, we had a lot of cameras there early. We have 2 over there right now. You know, we know they're hitting the food source, so I mean, really no need to have the cameras out there.
Right.
But yeah, we've had plenty of bucks over there. That little piece over there, we've actually killed 6 off of this year.
Okay.
So I mean, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the last one.
Yeah. It's the only one left. Yeah.
Last of the Mohegans over there.
Yep.
Well, at least you got to see your deer today.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even need the binos to see he was a buck. I could tell just I mean,
yeah.
just how he like presented himself. But the rack was so tall. You're like, oh, yep, that's a buck.
Yeah.
And he's got a limp. He's got a limp, and I was like, well, either someone shot at him at some point and didn't kill him, or
Stepped in a gopher hole.
stepped in a gopher hole. Like saw him, but he's limping. But
And
it's
you're-
not
you're-
horrible.
Your game plan has changed for tomorrow, I guess.
Yes,
So
as I
what's-
was
what's-
told. Yes.
What's the game plan for tomorrow for Ethan and Jeffrey over there?
So Ethan and Jeff are coming to the same property that Cody and Tim are on. So Ethan's going to what we call the picnic stand. It's actually a picnic grove, and the stand's right off there overlooking a big hollow and a ridge top there.
Okay.
So we got 2 pictures of bucks going through that area today. And Jeff, he's going down to what we call the hole in the
Okay.
morning. Big valley, big food plot in the middle of absolutely nowhere. So there's a ground blind, nice big green field, and it's just the thickest thing in Illinois that you'll see in back behind that food plot. So hopefully those deer are staged up in there. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
So that's your game plan for tomorrow, I guess. There you
Sounds
go.
good to me. I'm just excited. Like, I had no chance of getting that buck or any of those deer today. Like, they were so far away, but I was so excited. I mean, it took me 4 days to see a deer. I was sitting in the stand today, and I was like, there's no deer in Illinois. There's none. There's none. Dad
Typical
shot the
PA
only
thing to
doe.
say.
Yeah, that's such a Pennsylvania thing to
There's
say.
no deer in PA.
There's no deer in PA. There's none in Illinois either. But I was like, and then I
No
saw
deer in
them.
America.
I was like, all right, I'm happy. I was good. Like, okay.
Yeah. It brings you back up when you see that one big buck. It's
See
like,
that one big buck.
all of a sudden, I mean, Tim knows.
Oh yeah.
So let's hear your recap for today.
Yeah, so this morning I'm sitting there, nothing, and it's just the sun's about ready to rise, and out comes this big buck, and I'm just sitting there. He seems like a little bit weary at first about everything, but he starts committing to where my stand is. He's coming, and I'm like, yeah, he's a shooter for 100%. He's coming, and at 25 yards, I have a straight-on shot. And I'm like, not taking it. He cuts back and goes about 35 into thick stuff. No shot. He just walks off. But like I said, I'm content with that.
Yeah.
Saw a good one
Yep.
in bow range. Just didn't work out.
Yeah. So, Scott, would you take a straight-on shot at 25 yards?
Not really with the bow.
Okay.
With the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a slug gun in your hand, I'd probably let it rip.
Yeah.
That's the Pennsylvania in me.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably not with the bow.
Yeah.
We had a guy this year say he did it. Wasn't a good outcome. I think he completely missed the deer, to be honest with you. But we don't get a lot of straight-on shots like that,
Yeah.
you know.
Now, would you take it with crossbow? Would you take it with a crossbow?
Probably not.
Okay.
You know.
All right. I could feel like that would be like a tricky situation with a crossbow. to do
Yeah,
it.
I think the tree stand aspect of it, if you were ground level, I would take it.
Yeah.
But tree stand, I would never take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just a really tough angle.
Yeah, because you kind of have to aim higher than just where you originally were, that baseball size.
Yeah,
spot.
I
You
mean,
have to aim like up like almost like the white
on
his
neck.
You'd have to hit him. You'd have to hit him like perfectly between the shoulders, right? Like it's and even on ground level, like that's a tough window to hit. Like there's basically a strip there that you'd hit, or you'd have to hit the neck maybe, and maybe catch the esophagus if you're lucky.
That's what Tim was saying. He was like, I should just like shot his neck.
I mean, even that shot, you're playing a big factor. I mean, it's not ethical.
Yeah. You
made the right
missed.
choice, Tim. I think you made the right choice. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You did. But it runs through your head nonstop after like you have it at 25 yards. Nonstop, you're like, what could I have done differently? Like anytime you see a buck in the woods, it's always that. Like if it walks out of your life, you always in your head, you're like, fuck, what could I have done differently? Yeah. What happened? What happened there, Patrick?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just general.
Thought something
That's
happened
just
to
for
Patrick
single
today.
men.
Yeah.
That's just for single
Yeah,
men.
for all you single men out there.
So, Pat, how was your day today?
My day was pretty good. I didn't see anything until about it's like 4:45. Saw a group of doe come up over the hill in the field in front of me. Came down like they were gonna come towards the thicket, and then they just went out around to the other field behind me. And we're out there for a little bit. It's about 150 yards. Couldn't take that shot, of course. I mean, I could have. It would have been a lot of luck involved. But yeah, no, I was practicing my victory speech most of the day. Just just sitting there in the sun, basking in the sun.
Can we hear a little bit of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great question.
I'm the king of Illinois. There you go. I haven't perfected it. I only had about 10 hours to practice, so I will probably work on it a little bit more tomorrow. Hopefully I won't have any more time to practice it, but yeah, you never know. But yeah, it was a good day. I think it was, and no wind. It was colder today than it's been any other day, but I was warmer than I've been any other day.
Yep.
Part of that, I think, was because I was the best prepared that I've been the entire time, but also the sun, like that was huge. I was so comfy when the sun was hitting me, and it was hitting me most of the day. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, it was nice. It was a good day.
I almost could have, like, tanned out there.
Tan? You got a tan?
Yeah,
Just
you got a little tan.
just right here where you didn't put the eye black underneath,
Yeah,
like.
watch Jeffrey,
Yeah.
how was your day? In the blind.
Yeah. Well,
Got cold today, I heard.
before I even get into that, this morning when I woke up, there was this alarm that kept going off constantly for 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm finally, I got to the point where I'd said, turn the fucking alarm off. And of course they didn't listen. And I get out to the stand, and I'm sitting there, and usually this shit runs through my head. What was in my head? That fucking alarm. I was listening to the alarm in my head for I don't know how long, and then eventually it went away. But that was the start of the day. But no, I saw a couple deer close by. Didn't see the buck. I got some of my bills paid. I watched a little bit. Watched a little bit of football. What else? Oh, I was texting my wife, and she told me to stop texting her and start looking for deer. I said I'm looking all day. So I mean, I just got it in my head that if I see something in the morning, that's a plus. But I'm not going to see anything for the rest of the day until late in the day. So
Right.
I got to have something to do. So yeah, and then at the end of the day, I could have used a lifeline, because I was sitting there and I was trying to get out of the chair and I couldn't move. My fucking legs locked on me. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. So I had to push myself up. I could have used one of them lift chairs.
Scott, I think you need a lift chair one of your points.
That might depends and all the other stuff.
I
But
think
Man.
it was a good day though.
You need a retirement home blind.
I was gonna say we need to get Jeff, like, it needs to be like a kind of like a camper, but it's a hunting blind. So you just roll it up, park it.
There you go.
The sides open up.
They probably make them somewhere.
You can
Oh, they definitely make
those,
breakfast.
yeah.
And then you'll have a bigger TV to put the game on too, so you don't have to watch it on your phone.
You just need a cabin in
That's
the woods,
right.
really, is what
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah, but no, it was a good day. It was a good day. I had actually, Ethan's always talking about all his squirrel buddies. Every day he's got all these squirrels that come and talk to him and shit. But I was sitting there and I don't know what
Like
happened.
Cinderella
But one
or
of them
Snow
gave me
White?
shit
sorry.
for about a half an hour, and I was like, "What? What did I do?" And he's up there chirping away, and I thought, I'm not 100% sure, but I thought I heard an owl hoot like 2 times. Went the trees up above me, and then it went across to the woods across from me and did the same shit.
Well, where you're going tomorrow, there's a lot of freaking owls.
Yeah?
Because I heard them nonstop,
Okay.
like in the morning and then in the evening.
Yeah.
Like they were going absolute berserk over there.
Yeah. But that's what my day was. And like I said, I got out of the woods and me and Rick, Steve, we were driving
Who's
driving
Rick?
up to get we were driving up to get Ethan and Patrick, and we were looking at all the deer. I know that we probably passed 40 or 50 deer in the fields.
At least.
Yeah, from the distance from where I was up to the next stop. So they're around,
Right.
but I think their pattern's a little shaky.
Yeah.
I think they're doing. It's my own opinion, but I think they're doing the nighttime shit now instead of the daytime stuff. Maybe they are feeding, but I think they're coming out like everybody's seeing them at 4 o'clock or 3:30 or whatever. So I think they're getting that pattern down, doing nighttime stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might get lucky and see something.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
You said too, Scott, that they're more transient, like in those areas too, right? Like the fields, like they kind of tend to move around a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, right now, anywhere you're seeing deer, there's food. So I mean, that's kind of what we're focusing on, and yeah, it's this time of year is, it's a little bit different. Hopefully, you're in the right spot at the right time.
I was thinking too today, there's been moments where it's been like, man, this is kind of rough, like not really seeing that much. But then I was also thinking, like, it's not bad. I mean, I've probably seen about as many deer as I've saw back at home in Pennsylvania during the season. And I was like, man, I can only imagine what like peak season is like. This is probably ridiculous out here.
Oh yeah, like if you're here pre-rut or the rut, I mean, it's a totally different ball game. I mean, I can honestly say, like, me and Steve ran up the farm and home today, and I saw a buddy from the Harrisburg show. He's actually an outfitter in Africa, and he owns ground down here. He's an older guy. Saw him. We saw Josh from Kinsey's today, bow shop. Me and Steve both know him, and you guys are probably the only guys in Pike and Calhoun County right now sitting all day. Like 100%. I guarantee you there's not another outfit right now where those guys are sitting all day. Guarantee you.
Bighorn don't have nobody at their lodge at all.
Yeah,
No one.
if outfitters right now have guys, we're the only ones where the guys are sitting all day.
Oh yeah.
Guarantee you.
We're crazy.
No, seriously, guarantee you.
I'm farming home, and he's not even sitting all day from Kinsey's.
I ain't no pussy.
That's right, Patrick.
No, but I mean, it could just happen. I mean, I got a good buck on camera today in the Oaks at like 1:34. Just out of nowhere, I get an update on my phone or a notification, whatever you want to call it, and there he is. Just hasn't been there all week.
Yeah.
Just
a random thing.
he's there.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, if you're not there, you're not going to kill them. I mean,
yeah. So the hardest, would you say late season like this is the hardest time to like kind of pattern
oh yeah,
a buck or doe or deer in general?
oh yeah. They're just doing a million different things. I mean, they're doing what they want to do right now. You know, they're not out there chasing. They're not out there looking. Right now, it's just will to survive. Like, it's cold. You know, they're going to eat when they want to eat. You know, they're going to move when they want to move. I mean, realistically, they have no reason, you know, besides it being cold.
Yeah.
You know, they just...
Do you see that like extreme cold gets them moving more than?
Oh, yeah, when
like,
that wind lays down, too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I don't do January anymore, because it is... You think, like, this week was cold? You got no idea.
Yeah, I mean, next week it's going to be like -4
Oh, yeah.
down here.
Yeah, but
I
January...
would not want to be down here.
You take -4 with then 25, 35 mile an hour winds,
Oh, God.
it's miserable.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
And for some reason, all the guys from the south, they want to hunt January, and they get up here, and they're like, "Wow." I'm like, "Yeah, you know, we tell you that coming in, like,
Yeah.
guys, this is like,
And that's
it's
archery
cold,
too, right?
Yeah,
Holy
yeah. So it's
shit.
not even like you got a gun where you could touch one 200
Yeah.
yards. You know what I mean? You got to get them within 40, and it's
Like, I'm worried about having 4 layers on right now and be pulled back a bow.
yeah.
Like, I can't imagine -4 with 25 mile per hour wind. And
wouldn't
then
be
I'm
out
trying
there.
to pull back. I'd be out there for 2 hours a
Yeah,
day
that's it. You know,
at night.
it's tough.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
but we had a local guy stop over today, and we were talking. You know, in the 5 years that I've been here, I don't remember it being this cold right before Christmas.
Mhm.
You know, usually it's like 30s or 40s. You know,
Right.
I don't remember this cold. You know, our duck
Really?
holes weren't freezing up yet.
Huh.
You know, it hasn't been this cold. But
Wow.
for some reason this week it's cold.
Because we came down.
That's right.
It's
Stone
Patrick's
cold
cold
killers.
Climate change.
We knew Patrick was coming.
yeah, Patrick's cold heart down here. Any words for that?
What's that?
What?
No, I don't have all the words this evening.
No, but I mean, you think about this too. So there's 5 of you guys hunting right now.
Right.
Cody, you saw a good buck.
Yep.
Jeff saw a good buck.
Mhm.
Ethan tonight saw a good buck. Not as close to what you guys saw yours,
Right.
but still saw a good buck. And Tim saw a good buck.
Mhm.
You know, the only guy left here is Pat. But for this time of year, you know, you saw him in the daylight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of, okay, them either screwing up or, you know, we keep moving around a little bit and, you know, trying to zero in a little bit better. But, you know, that, I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like Ethan, like, sat that stand for, what, 3 days? Didn't see a deer.
Yeah.
And then tonight, Steve's going to pick you guys up, and right there underneath the stand, there's 3 deer. At least what he could see from the road.
Yep.
You know, it's just, that's how it works. It's, you know, and a lot of outfitters, they'll make you sit the same stand all week.
Really?
You don't have a choice to move. You know, we let our guys move around, and like, you know, we've talked about it before, like, we want you guys to kill them. We don't want you just to see them.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to kill them.
Yeah.
But a lot of outfitters, you know, I hear the stories from guys that hunt with us to go to different camps, you know, around the country, and it's like, yeah, doesn't matter what the wind is, I hunt that stand, or, you know, 2 stands in that area depending on the wind, but I don't move. You know,
Yeah.
they don't give you an option.
What?
You know?
Why is that? Like, is that just what they do, or
You know,
like?
I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
You know, if we have a guy that we know he smokes,
Yeah.
we're gonna confine him to one area.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you got to move, you got to stay mobile.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But the worst part is when a guy says, "Oh yeah, I'm seeing deer," you know, maybe it's a tough week in camp and he wants to move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, or I saw a shooter, let's move.
Right.
You know, if you can't climb or you can't run a hang on or a saddle, we'll move.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you have a hang on or a saddle or a climber, we're going to move you in that area.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think being mobile is a big thing. Like, 'cause you don't hear a lot about that with outfitters in general. Like, they want you to be mobile. Like, you actually encourage people to be mobile.
Yeah.
Like, you have climbers out there for people to use if they can use them. You know, like that's a big, it's a big thing.
It's like, I always wonder how many booners across the United States have been killed out of ladders.
Yeah.
I always wonder that number.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems like everybody you talk to, they kill 140 or better. You know, and 140 is not a booner, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a great buck.
Mm-hmm.
they were in a climber, they were in a saddle, or they're in a hang-on. It just seems like the numbers are a lot more with those than they are in a ladder stand.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You know what you just made me think of? Why don't game commissions collect that info?
Like I think that's like an interesting
Yeah.
number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like how many, like, did you shoot this animal from a tree stand, a blind, from the ground, or, like, I think that would be really interesting to get all the data on.
I think the only people that would really kill booner bucks from a ladder stand would be like the Drurys or someone like big like that.
Well, I mean,
Kinda.
You know, some of our biggest bucks this year were killed out of ladders, but it was with a gun.
Yeah. So you have that longer poke with it.
So the gun's different.
Right.
You know, but
Oh yeah. I mean, if it was gun season, I would have had that one. Tim would have had one.
yeah,
I
Ethan
would've had-
would've had
I
one.
would've had
Ethan
that
would've
one.
had one.
Yeah, like
We'd be sitting here, you know, talking about how we have 4 hanging on the pole right now, and how
trying
we're
to
gonna
get
go put
Patrick
on a
one.
deer drive tomorrow for Pat. You know what I mean? Like, push out all of our properties.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, Mason and I talked about that when we were moving from my morning sit to my evening sit in the soybeans. Like we were talking about how like if it was gun season, would it be completely different? Because we heard some gunshots. Like I don't even know what was going on. I think someone was just shooting
Yeah,
a
the
gun.
neighbor busted off a round or something.
Yeah,
Or you hear duck hunters.
yeah,
No, it was a rifle and rifle. Yeah.
yeah. But we really like hearing memorable stories. So I want to hear your most memorable experience here, like with a client. Like, what's your most memorable one that sticks out the most in your head?
So it would have been my first year. I had a guy, it was just me and him, during the rut.
Mm-hmm.
Still staying here at the lodge. His name's John Barlick. He's from Pennsylvania. He was here. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard this scream, like somebody was getting murdered. And I came out. I ran out of my room, and he comes out of the bathroom. I'm like, "You all right?" He's like, "I just passed a kidney stone." I'm like, "Oh shit, man."
What?
So, you know, we're not going to go back to bed at this point. We're sitting down here on the couches, bullshitting and having some coffee, and it's pouring. I mean, it's freaking pouring. And he said, "You have any blinds?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can put you in a blind." So I take him over to the old Logan farm, and it's wet. So I'm going to pull right up to the blind. You had to go through this little CRP field. You know, I had a guy brush hog all the trails. And I pull up to the blind, he gets out, I get his bow out, his crossbow, get him settled, and I get back in my truck, and I buried my truck. I couldn't move. So I'm like, shit. So I get in the blind with him, I said, "Looks like I'm hunting with you today for a little bit." So we're sitting there, and he's just shaking. Not because it's cold, because his kidneys hurt bad, you know. I've never had that, knock on wood, so I don't know how it feels, but I'm sure it doesn't feel good.
That's pushing through it right there.
It does.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the rut, and I finally said to him, I said, "You want to just go do some rattle sets?" I had my horns with me. He's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. I just want to get this guy's mind off of sitting here."
Right.
So I had this food plot right up from where we were at, and we're walking. We're going to go do our first set overlooking these cornfields where the timber and the creek meet. And all of a sudden this doe just pops her head up the trail, and we stop. And I said, "Hey, Mr. Barlock, there might be a buck." So next thing you know, she cuts in the timber, and this buck is standing there looking at us. And I couldn't even tell him 30 yards. I just hear, whop. He drills this buck. I watch it run through the cornfield, drops about 20 yards away from us. And then, you know, we're high-fiving and shit. Like, that was really cool, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to call Jason Heavner, the neighbor farmer. I said, "Hey, you got to do me 2 favors. You got to come get this buck with your tractor and pull my truck out." Because I said, "I'm stuck."
Yeah.
You know, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get to be out there with the guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's cool when that happens.
Yeah, because this guiding is different than like if you go like out to like Montana, like that way.
Yeah.
Usually you're out with the client there.
Yeah, I mean, this is more semi-guided. I mean, we take you out to your stands, and then when you kill one, we go out there and track it and gut it and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not like you're hunting moose or elk where we're glassing with you and, you know, we're standing on a mountaintop going, oh, we got to make a move 1,000 yards, you know,
Right.
like, you know, this, you know, being a whitetail guide, and I think primarily in the Midwest, I mean, it's not like we're still hunting, you know, up in Maine, or we're not, you know, we're filling up feeders all day in Texas for you guys. You know, it's a lot of downtime. You sit here and you just wait for a phone call or a text. You know, there's a lot of days that go by, you're just sitting here and you're like, okay, come on, you know.
You're like, any minute now, this is gonna ring.
Yeah, and you know, like this is Stephen Mason's first year, and I think a lot of guys don't know what to really expect.
Right.
You know, because I remember Mason, like the first day of season. Now Harold was still with us. And he had done it with me before, and Mason's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not really a napper." Well, you're gonna be a napper by day 3, brother. I can tell you that.
He takes a nap every day.
Yeah, you know, like
I'm not right there with him.
you have to. You have to. I mean, you're getting up every day.
Yeah.
You know, early in the year, you're getting up even earlier. You know, and then you get the time change. And before the time change, you're not eating dinner until 9:30, almost 10 o'clock some nights, because you're hunting till.
Right.
7:30, 7:45. We get back to the lodge. It's 8:30. You know, guys have a couple beers or whatever. They're bullshitting. Then dinner's like, you know, 9:30.
Yeah.
It's long days.
Those are hard days.
And then you're
Those
getting right
have to be
back
hard
up
days.
at 4 o'clock and doing it all over again. You know? So, yeah, I mean, being a whitetail guy in the Midwest, it's not. I think a lot of guys, they don't. I think they think they're going to be in a hang on above you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just not how it works.
Like videoing, kind of like being out
yeah,
there.
And I'm
like,
sure they got guys that do it.
Yeah, I was hoping Steve would like sit beside me
You
a
need a
couple
bigger
days,
blind,
you know.
brother.
Yeah,
That's a
Just
three-man
4
blind.
pieces of wood.
That's a 3-man blind. We'll be good.
4 pieces of wood.
He'll let his alarm ring off.
The problem is I'm not pulling you out of the chair.
If you're stuck, you're stuck.
you can be my lifeline.
So Mason and Steve, talk about that like a little bit. Like, what did you expect coming down here? And then
See, it was a little different for me because I was out here before, and I've
Yeah.
seen a little bit of the operation before
yeah,
I got out here.
okay,
I hunted with Scott in 2020, so
yeah,
it was a little different. I knew what was going to happen and what wasn't going to happen.
Well, it's like, what's your favorite part about this, and what's your least favorite part
Meeting the
about this?
guys, different people. That's probably my favorite.
yeah.
Dealing with Mason's probably, no, I'm just picking.
Listen to Steve's alarm every morning
If I
pisses me
could
off
just add
too.
to that,
So. Dealing with
he
Jeff.
lives around the corner from where I live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So he's out here for 5 months or 4 months, whatever, but he's right around the corner from me at home.
Yeah.
Meeting a lot of people, that's my biggest thing. I enjoy
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I mean that's just like us with the podcast, like meeting different people all the time. Like that's the most exciting part about it.
The ones that are, what I don't like about it is guys think they can come out here and like Scott said yesterday, we're not going to see a 140-inch buck every day.
Right.
And these guys expect you to
Yeah.
do it, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't matter what you do, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, unless you're
We don't
behind
have
like
a
some
high
fence. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, if you're behind a high fence, then you'll see big buck all the time. But if you're free range deer, like
Yeah, you're not going to see them.
if you're lucky if you see one at 150 or 100 yards or
Oh, yeah.
15 yards, 25 yards.
What's your favorite, Mason?
Yeah, Mason.
Honestly, what Steve said, like just meeting the people, and you know, this is really my first time away from home for a long period of time, and that. So Scott takes really good care of us. Steve's a really good guy, and all that. So it's just one second family to me out here.
He's just saying that because we're live.
No, that's you know, was there a big, I guess, growing pains, all that kind of stuff? Like, I mean, moving away from home, like you're 20 years old, like.
I mean, at first, like, I was a little homesick at first,
Yeah.
like, you know, when especially like that first week we were all hanging stands and that. Like, when I was busy that first week, it was fine, but like once at night and all that, you get homesick. But
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff that I love every day now, hunting, taking guys out, checking cameras. Like, if I didn't have a job back home, this is what I'd be doing anyway. So
Yeah. How long did it take you to hang stands? Because how many do you have on the one property that we're hunting right now? Because I've seen a bunch.
It takes all year,
Yeah.
you know, but like, you know, we were talking yesterday, like the woods changes,
Yep.
you know, from spring to summer to fall to winter. You know, you're finding new areas, the deer are changing. You know, and the problem is not everybody could climb.
Yep.
You know, in a perfect world for me, everybody would be in a climber.
Yeah.
Personally, you know, so it's like, okay, you get some guys, they don't want to sit in a single man ladder, they want to be in a double man ladder,
right,
for more room. You got some guys that are confined to ground blinds. You got some guys that all they want to do is, you know, use climbers. You know, you gotta make sure you could accommodate everybody.
Yeah.
But then it makes the game 10 times harder too. You know, because there's certain areas you can't put ground blinds in. There's certain areas you can't get ladders in. You know, so I mean, you gotta, you know, it takes all year. You're always changing things. I had a bunch of my baseball players this year helping me through the year. That was a huge help.
I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, like $100 bill at Subway, but yeah, that was great. Yeah, we're at Subway. I buy their lunch every day.
Yeah.
And the low
Where's the
boys,
Subway at around here?
south of where you guys are at.
Okay.
Where we went down for lunch the other day.
Okay. I was okay.
So we're in Subway for the first time. So it's Brady, Bing, and Brock Lowe. They're three brothers. Two are twins. You know, these kids are like 13, 14 years old. And then I got Lane Hubbard. So there's four of them. So I get my sandwich first or whatever, you know, and Lane and Bing and Brock, they get their sandwiches. And then Brady is actually my favorite. He's the last one to get a sandwich. And all of a sudden, like, the owner of the Subway is an older guy. He's doing the cash register, and he starts laughing. And I see, like, on the total comes up, it's like $27 for this kid's sandwich, right? So I'm like,
For one
what?
sandwich?
I'm like, what the fuck? I said, Brady, what the hell did you get? He goes, oh, Coach Bean, I got roast beef, bacon, steak, and ham. I mean, his sandwich, they couldn't even close the thing, right?
Oh my god.
So I'm like, holy shit, you got like 5 meats, right? They're charging me like $6 a pop for each piece of meat they put on the sandwich.
And the kid might be 110 pounds.
Yeah, and I can't complain because every kid, their entire meal every time.
Yeah.
So like that, I can never complain about. As long as you eat your food, I don't care. As
Yeah.
long as it doesn't go to waste, you know. And yeah, me being me, we went back to Subway like 7 times in a row. That was like $700 in a week at Subway. That was great. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was great.
But that's now, are they hunters already?
Yeah, all 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you should do a little small game hunting around here. There's too many squirrels.
Oh yeah. Well, Steve and Mason on Thanksgiving, they went out with the little boys and the beagles, and I've had that experience before.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I just know how to hunt with them. You stand about 500 yards behind them, and you know, you watch them shoot everything, and then when they turn around and shoot back at you, you know, you're 500 yards. You're not gonna get peppered or anything. You're fine. So Thanksgiving, we had our first annual pickup football game in Bellevue Hall. And then Steve and Mason went out there for the old rabbit hunt. You know?
Yeah, we had more barrels pointed at us, hands on top of barrels, people shooting at our feet.
Scott's not joking when he says stand 500 yards apart. Me and the one kid, we were like me to that doorway, like 10 yards apart.
Yeah.
And the beagles had a rabbit out, and rabbit came and stopped right in between us. I'm like, the kid's right there. I'm not even going to pull my gun on this thing until it goes by. As soon as I got done thinking that, the kid shoots it right 5 yards away from me.
I remember one time I went with them, and all 3 brothers, they're right next to me. And I went in this patch to try and kick one up while the beagles were on another rabbit, and this quail went up
Yeah.
between me and the boys. And I saw 3 barrels. And I thought my life was over. I'm like, well, there goes that. It was fun while it lasted, you know?
God.
And I couldn't say no fast enough, and I did, and they didn't shoot. But I mean, that quail, it's like, you know, Pennsylvania get them deer season grouse flushes, like it just hangs up in the air for 30 seconds, and you can shoot it 10 times. That's how this quail was. And I was like, oh, it's over. It's over.
It was fun, man.
I'm over.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I never did it before, and it was fun.
And that was on your properties that you did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, they went down to the 110 down the bottoms there, and how many did you guys shoot?
I think 10.
Yeah, it's about 9 or 10, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what these beagles were doing. They're just running around, not doing nothing. I'm like, how the hell are we going to know there's a rabbit?
Are these actually trained dogs or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Next thing you know, they just all of a sudden lit up and started barking and carrying on. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do we know there's a rabbit?
I never did
first
that
one I
before.
shot was like What do you say, Mason? 5 yards?
Maybe 5 yards.
Yeah, with a 12-gauge shotgun, there was nothing left of it.
More of that Scott's full.
And that's probably
full
what you
choke
did.
on-
Yeah, got him.
with Scott's
I left the wood in the truck.
and
That guy in the blind.
It was with Scott's A5. It was set up for duck hunting, not rabbit hunting.
Extra full choke on that thing. And
Oh my
God.
No survivors.
We take no survivors around here.
So you help out a lot with like the youth and younger generations getting into hunting?
I mean, I'm the head coach for the varsity baseball team in town, and started a summer program for my junior high guys and the little league guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, hunting season for us, I mean, we have no time.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have time to, like, volunteer and take kids out hunting by any means, but, you know, in the summer, like, yeah, they're helping me hang stands, and, you know, I'll take a couple of them turkey hunting and stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily, like, you know, say, you know, we take kids out all the time,
Right.
you know, but...
Yeah. But I mean, you're still getting them out there.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the biggest thing is like getting them out there and getting acclimated to their surroundings, you know, with hunting.
Yeah. And I learned stuff from them, they learned stuff from me.
Yeah, I mean I mean, like I know a good amount, but then like I go out with Patrick or I go with Ethan, like they see something that I didn't see, and I mean it always
Patrick
happens.
definitely sees things from a whole different level.
Yes, he does.
He's taught me some things this week. Definitely.
You know, Patrick, what did you learn today?
What did I learn today?
There has to be something you learned today.
Deer don't care if I'm the king of Illinois.
Steve should have been 5 minutes earlier.
Steve. Oh yeah. These deer come up over the hill in front of me, which is like the exact same place that they came up over the day before, and but there was more of them this time. Yesterday there were like 6 of them. Today I think there were like 8, and they came up over the hill, and I was like, oh man, here they come. They're coming down, and they like. One by one, which is different from yesterday, because yesterday they all just like moved as a pack. And today there was like one went down, then another one went down, then 2 went down, then another one, and they were like trailing along, and the other ones would look back and be like, oh, is Mavis coming? Like, come on, girls, we're going down around the thicket.
Mavis is such a weird Mavis.
What I landed on. Sorry, she teaches typing. So went around and they went around to the other side, like to this other hill behind me, and I'm sitting there. One thing that I learned was trying to turn around in that stand and like get a good angle on. If they would have came down to the edge, like until I like was ready to draw and like waiting for one to come, I was like, yeah, this will be fine, no problem. And then I was like trying to line myself up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a little more difficult than I thought, because the tree's not huge. So like trying to make sure that I had enough room to like draw and also like kind of remain hidden until I was ready to take my shot. Trying to figure all of that out in the moment. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Didn't really have to worry about that because they didn't come down. But they were up on top of this hill, and yesterday, Steve had like driven by, and they were like kind of reacting to him driving by. So I was like, oh man, if he drives by today, I was like, right now, Steve. I was like, now's the time to drive by. And then they take their time and they wander up over the hill, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man. And then like not like 30 seconds later, I see Steve drive by, and I was like, damn. But you know what?
You gave Steve hell.
And I said, Steve, I walked up to the truck and I said, Steve.
That he did.
I said, you're late.
If you want me to drive with my truck instead of just getting out and walking, choose the truck.
No, but I think too, if I was going back to that spot tomorrow, this might sound crazy, but like, it's what I would do back home for sure, but I would put myself on the edge of the thicket, and that might be crazy, but like on that point where they walked by, just because that's, I mean, 2 days in a row. But we also just talked about how it's tough to, you know, put a pin on them and know where they're going to be. I thought that the doe that I saw yesterday morning was going to do the same thing. Nowhere to be found this morning, and why I don't know, but just learning to always be prepared. That's a very long summation of all the little things I learned today.
So, like, let me ask you guys this. Like, this, you guys said for most of you, like, this is your first experience with an outfitter.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what were you expecting coming in? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, what is different than what you thought it was going to be? And is there anything that is, you know, what you thought it was going to be? Put it that way.
I had no idea what to expect, to be honest with you.
The lodge is way nicer than I expected it to be. I honestly thought we were gonna be like, you know, like in the typical like cabin with like a row of bunk beds and
Like my cabin?
yeah, like but like bigger.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Big,
gonna be
but
honest,
bigger.
like, because I didn't see any pictures or anything. And it's like I was just like I don't know what to expect, but yeah, really nice place. In terms of hunting experience, I wasn't expecting the chauffeur service. Actually, I was
Professional Uber driver.
I was very pleasantly surprised with that. It was like, okay, we're gonna drop you off here, and yeah, it's about 20 feet that way to your stand. And I was like, oh. I was like, that's better than walking 9 miles. Yeah.
You know, you just throw my cabin under the bus.
I'm not throwing your
There's
cabin under the bus.
I mean, come on.
Explicitly.
No, I didn't really expect that much, but like the lodge is very nice. It was very comfortable, and like that's, I guess I kind of was expecting that, but like being here in person, it's just like 10 times better than actually like seeing pictures, all that kind of stuff. The properties are extremely nice and well taken care of. Stands are extremely nice. Like, I mean, it's just the deer sign is there. It's just you need the deer to cooperate at the same time. And I mean, you guys have the trail cameras to show that there's big buck in the area. We've seen the big buck in the area. So I mean, it's just late season's hard.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't like say I was like, oh, I was expecting to see a buck. Like Steve said, I wasn't expecting to see a buck, 140-inch buck every single time I go out.
Yeah.
Like, but it's, you know, you play mental mind games with yourself when you're like not seeing things. It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh yeah.
You know.
Especially when you guys are sitting all day. I mean, you know, like I said, that's the longer you sit, the more time you spend out there, the better your chances are. But
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier in this podcast, like you guys, I guarantee you, 100% are the only ones sitting all day in these 2 counties right now.
Yeah.
Guarantee you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd put my life on that one right now. That's how serious I am about that. Like, nobody else is doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can see that. And also, I feel the fact there's going to be 4 of us on that property tomorrow, and we're all going to be kind of in different areas, I think. It's going to, like, I feel like one of us is going to see something tomorrow with 4 of us on that property. Like, that's, especially because I've seen a big buck, Tim saw a big buck on the same property, like, and he saw even, like,
And different deer too.
yeah, it was a bunch of different deer. Yeah. And like you even saw a bunch of doe too. So I mean, one of us will get hopefully a crack at something tomorrow.
Let me just add real quick. I was not expecting the weather. Like I knew it was going to be cold.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I should have known. Like we're in the Midwest, but the wind, man, I just obviously was not prepared for that.
No, like all of us sitting here tonight are from Pennsylvania. All of us. You know, the wind out here, it just never stops, ever. That's what gets you, is that wind. You know?
I'm really impressed with the tree stands and how you guys mark them. Like, and Mason like got me in the area and everything, but even finding the one I went to today easy, simple to get to, ribboned. How you guys green ribbon the climbing areas, like laid out. The stands are actually comfortable and worthy to get into, not just some cheap ass, ladder stand that you can throw up. The ground blinds aren't like a cheap ass ground blind that you just hop into. They're an actual nice size. You can get into them easily. A lot better than a lot of places.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for the wind. Just like a badger, I was not. It was so good. I had to take the Pennsylvania hunting mindset and kind of put it away, because the first days I was like, it's so windy. Well, nothing's going to be out. That's what you see in Pennsylvania. If it's this windy, you're not going to see nothing. Then you're not even going to see a squirrel. Well, these animals are built a little different here in Illinois compared to Pennsylvania. They don't care. It's 30-mile-an-hour wind, and they're just going to be out in the middle of a field doing whatever they do, like it's just a normal another day. So, but other than that, it's a wonderful place. Food's amazing. I look forward to the food,
The food
every
is
night.
so good. The food is so good, and it's ready now. And I'm like, my mouth is watering, but I will hold it in.
Jesus.
So yes,
It was kind of ironic that also her name is Deb,
yes,
and the bar I always go to at my cabin is Deb's.
yes.
Deb's is like a tradition, I guess.
It's a tradition. You can't not
Sorry, continue.
have Deb's food. No, it's fine. Yeah, I didn't expect to see the monster buck every single day. I knew it wasn't one of those places where you're like, oh yeah, the feeder's going to go off at 9 o'clock in the morning, and so could have a name. Buck number 1, 2, 3 is going to walk out, and you're going to take your shot. And it's like, no, it's like these are wild animals that you're just going to have to get lucky, right? Yep. Seeing all the trail cam pictures, I see all the trail cam pictures that you guys are, constantly getting. So I was like, I just wasn't expecting to see so many big buck in this area. I'm not used to that. Even from Pennsylvania, like I get a big buck on camera. It's the one big buck I get on camera. You have a lot of big buck on camera, so they're here.
Jeffrey?
Well, I don't have that much more to add to it. What everybody said, that's my thoughts also. I know that we all came down here probably with thinking about how we hunt and what we're going to have to do different, or if we're going to have to do anything different. What's to be expected. And I know that hunting Pennsylvania, I hunt mountains. I don't hunt flat land. And I only noticed just this year when I went bear hunting in Tioga that that's how they hunt, like down here or over here. It's fields and it's wooded, lots in the fields. But I was kind of surprised to see as many deer. I was hoping I would see, quite a few. Just looking at your gallery that you have on your webpage and some of the deer that have been taken, I was like, this will be very interesting, because if you hunt in our area, if you got anything bigger than an 8-point, or in Cody's case a 9-point, that's a big deer. That is a big deer around our areas. And just looking at some of these deer that you have on the wall, if I saw something like that in Pennsylvania, I'd shit a brick. I'd probably freeze, and I was like, just stand there and watch it run away from me.
Out of your life forever.
But other than that, everything is exactly how I expected it. It's great. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Top-notch establishment.
I appreciate it.
Top-notch.
5 stars.
Hey,
Let's go eat.
we have one more day.
Let's go eat.
Yes,
Yeah, let's go eat.
I'm starving.
Hello and welcome back to Backcountry PA News. My name's Mr. America. Let's get into it. This first one comes from PennLive.com. See a flock of turkeys? The PA Game Commission wants you to report where and when. If you see a flock of turkeys, the Pennsylvania Game Commission wants to know where. The commission is asking people to report the flocks between now and March 15th using a website to report the date. We'll have the link on the description for you. The commission said it wants to trap the turkeys, gather information for projects, and then release them after they've banded them. They want to determine if there's potential for turkey traps so that they can outfit these turkeys and collect more information on the different populations in different WMUs. GPS transmitters will also be attached to some turkeys in 2D, 3D, 4D, and 5C on about 150 hens and 100 males. The study areas have different landscapes and population densities. There are also differences in densities of the hunting populations there. They're trying to study the turkey population and the dynamics of movement, as well as different disease prevalences in certain areas. The study is expected to continue next winter for males and females and through 2025 for hens. When the study period is completed, the commission said it will have monitored more than 400 females and more than 200 males. It's the largest turkey project they've ever conducted, and they're really expecting for the same turnout that they got last year. A lot of different feedback and a lot of different information that they got from the public. So if you see some turkeys and you don't mind the Game Commission putting a little tag on them, go ahead and follow up with them. We'll have the link to this article. It has the link to the website that you can use to go and report. It's also pgcdatacollection.pa.gov if you just want to go straight there, /turkey brood survey. This next one comes from OutdoorLife.com. Venison facts amid the lion diet, TikTok craze, and World Carnivore Month. Let's get our facts straight on the other red meat. This is a nice little article by Alex Robinson, and it starts out basically talking about there's this new trend out there, World Carnivore Month. It's been popular among a lot of different social media avenues, and then TikTok personalities also promoting the lion diet, or basically just eating animals and salt. I'm not going to give you every single fact listed in the article because you probably know a lot of them, but there are a couple thoughts in here that I thought were pretty interesting. The first one being most wild venison is probably not organic. One, because there's a lot of different rules, regulations, and restrictions on what you can call organic. And one of them is that producers must feed livestock agricultural feed products that are 100% organic, which means no synthetic herbicides. Herbicides are used in a lot of different types of farming, and since deer travel so much throughout different areas and they thrive off of being on the edge of the woods and the fields, it's more than likely that they've eaten feed or soybeans or corn that's been hit with herbicide. Another interesting one is that the experts want you to overcook venison for safety. The Department of Agriculture in Minnesota says that cooking venison to at least 165 degrees will kill all bacteria, but that's beyond medium rare. The University of Minnesota Extension recommends cooking venison steaks to 145 degrees. The author here recommends 135, and then the temp creeps up while it's resting. As someone who did a lot with hospitality management and restaurants, I would recommend at least going to 145 degrees. That's one of the lowest recommended temperatures. And then it'll rest a little bit. It'll probably put you up near 150. But I would definitely not recommend undercooking your meat, even if no one that you know has ever gotten sick from it. While the author does make a good point that one of the best things you can do is make sure that you're using sanitary gutting and butchering practices. The last thing that I didn't know really for the longest time, and I had never really thought about it. It never really occurred to me. But you can't buy any game animal due to the Lacey Act. So wild deer meat isn't available in the U.S. In fact, the only real kind of venison that you can get is actually red stag, oftentimes imported from New Zealand. So there you go. There's a few more facts on there, a little bit to encourage you to go check it out yourself. That's outdoorlife.com. Now, this last one is a little more complex than what we usually talk about here on the news, but I think that it's really important and it's not too hard to follow. It's just a little bit longer with a few more details. So if you want to go and check out the real thing, outdoorlife.com, states consider using budget surpluses to fund conservation. So this is really interesting to me. I know that some of you will probably have very passionate opinions on this, but there's COVID-19 relief funding and a lot of tax revenue from different states. Most of these are out west right now, but conservationists in 2 states say it's a great time to invest in wildlife habitat. So basically, you have New Mexico and Montana that have seen the success of different legislature in different states out there. Wyoming in particular established the Wyoming Wildlife and Natural Resource Trust in 2005. And over the last 17 years, their trust fund has generated its current size of $190 million, thanks to the initial $110 million investment and then one-time investments and donations. They are working to grow to $200 million this year as a part of the 2023 budget. They are in a $913 million surplus as of mid-November in 2022. That's Wyoming. So now New Mexico and Montana are considering doing the same thing. They're looking at about $200 million and I believe $100 million collectively. They're going to go take a look. $350 million and $200 million. New Mexico was hoping to do $350 million. It's probably going to look closer to $75 million. But they're making these moves now in the hopes that they can take this money, save it in the trust fund, and then these trusts will basically build value over time in the stock market. And then they'll be able to take some of the interest from these funds and fund different projects throughout the state. I think that it's really interesting and a smart idea. If you have extra money, go ahead and use it. And that's really what the states should be focusing more on, using the funds within the state to go and give back to the land and the conservation in different areas. Let me know what you think. I want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Backcountry PA News. Remember to stay safe and keep your tradition.